So this is not about, is this a little piece of this? This is the vast majority of what's going on in the United States. See, the average North American gets hit with almost 14,000 commercial messages a day, every day, and it takes about 15 seconds for a normal human to process a commercial message. So 14,000 messages times 15 seconds is almost as many hours in the day. This was not always true. In the mid-90s, the average North American got hit with about 2,400 commercial messages a day. They could handle that. But what happened in the United States is once you hit about the 35th year of ubiquitous color television, the ability for a particular broadcast, now that's on the internet, that's a pop-up ad, that's TV, that's radio, that's newspaper ads, that's all of these things. Once you hit where whatever your market has had color television ubiquitous within their market for 35 years, you hit that point, the ability for a single message or a single campaign to actually be ROI positive starts dropping. And so, you know, here's an interesting game to play. Think of a category like cars. Think of all of the campaigns that have been going on for specific cars in the last 5 years, and then put that in the bottom, and then at the top put how many campaigns you think actually made a big difference in car sales, and you'll run around 7 or 8%. So it is humanly possible. Axe body spray is a really great example. It is humanly possible to do a broadcast campaign and have you sell a lot of stuff. Anybody have a kid that's in middle school, particularly a boy, so like 14 or 15? So they spray this stuff all over themselves as Axe body spray? Because the story that people are telling about Axe in the commercials is, if you are 15 years old and you spray this all over yourself, supermodels will fall from the sky and they will ride the punk. Being a former 15-year-old boy myself, I was like, dude, I totally would have done that. For $8, I would have totally gone down that way. Again, if you have middle school boys or high school boys and you've seen this, the reason they stink of that stuff so much is because when they follow the directions, if they follow the directions, and they spray it the first time, and the supermodels don't fall from they're like, well, maybe I just didn't put enough on. And so they go, so you can smell them from like a mile away. So Gisele Bundchen and all the rest of her friends know that they're out there, but in fact, that's not true. In fact, that it is untrue that models fall from the sky and writhe upon you if you spray this stuff on you. Now, take that same story in a word-of-mouth perspective. You know, two dudes, 15 years old, playing Xbox or whatever. One guy says to the other guy, hey, spray this on yourself and this will happen. So, of course, he does it. And when it doesn't happen, you know, he punches the other guy in the head. And then they, you know, they're two guys. And so they just go on and they keep playing Xbox. Very few stories work if they don't have three particular components to them. So is a story interesting? Is it interesting to that influencer? One North American in 10 tells the other 9 what to buy about everything, right? These influencers are critically important to you. And they're critically important to you because 8 out of 10 North Americans have at least one brand-specific conversation every day, which means there's 15% of all conversations 24/7, 365 in your markets are about a branded product or service. So the question is not, are people talking about your credit unions? The question is, what are they saying about them? And is that story compelling enough to where they're going to share it with somebody over brunch, on the side of the soccer field when their kids are playing? Where is it compelling enough? Is it interesting? Is it relevant? Is it authentic?